Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today I'm going to be talking about the Killzone problem, which is also GW's competitive scene problem. Now there's a couple of caveats to this. Number one, this has all stemmed from a conversation I've had with a gentleman on YouTube called Glass Half Dead. I will try and leave a link to his channel. Mostly does Kill Team, fabulous channel, go check it out. And secondly, I'm aware that this has come straight after a video where I said, am I too harsh on GW? And then it's sort of me criticising GW a little bit. But I think it's fair criticism and I'm happy to continue doing fair criticism, and that's something I will do. But I will also try and be balanced when it comes to FFG and any other companies I talk about. And in this case, what is the Killzone problem? Well, I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm also going to talk about the way that GW are going forward with the competitive scene as a whole, right? But the Killzone problem is essentially there's an event at Warhammer World this Sunday called Kill Team Annihilation. Now, I've tried to post on Facebook and apparently an email went out talking about the Killzones, but I've not been party to that because I hadn't bought my ticket yet. So I'm not 100% sure what's happening and it might change, so keep that in mind. So they're expecting, part of the thing is that you must take your kill zone with some terrain. They said they actually will provide some if you're short, but let's just presume you're following that, right? So the problem with that is kill zones can have specific rules, and the pack doesn't really make any mention, as far as I can see. If I'm wrong, do correct me, about whether or not you can use those kill zone specific rules. Now, if I come to my opponent and they want to play Deathwill Forest or the Rogue Trader one, and we have to do a roll off to decide, and they win, and I don't even know their rules, I'm going to be a bit salty about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I have to play with the new line of sight for Rogue Trader and stuff like that, I'm going to be like, I don't even know your rules. And that is part of the problem. If you had all the kill zones at the minute, including the starter set, I think you'd probably spend like 250 quid. So it's difficult, and without that money, like impossible to have all the kill team kill zone info that we probably should have going into like a competitive event. So that's the problem. Like, people can, I'm gonna have to play rules that I don't and can't know beforehand, which I think everybody would admit is a problem. The reverse to that, and this is where I think it was a great point by Glass Half Dead, people have bought these kill zones and they're going to want to use them, which is perfectly fine and reasonable. Imagine if you've bought the Rogue Trader box and the rule book, you have no other kill zone, so you can't do anything else. So you've bought them and you're going to have to use them, right? So I think that's a problem for a competitive scene. I don't think that's great for a competitive game. I know like Shadespire has boards, but I don't think the boards are as drastically impacting the game, but I could be wrong there. Yeah, this is a problem. How big of a problem? I don't know, right? I think most tournaments won't use this kind of system. I think it's because Games Workshop's Warhammer World Kill Team Annihilation is probably like a friendly tournament and they just want you to go have fun. The game's only been out 2 months. It's the first proper event at GW's headquarters. And in that sense, I'm like, okay, that's fine, right? It's not that big of an issue, it's just the once. Well, it could be. But I feel like they've sort of backed themselves into a corner where I'm not quite sure how they'll get out of it for like other tournaments. But I think it's because they're expecting like shops and stuff like that to really push the tournament scene because they're supporting the organised play. But my main point here in this video, after 4 minutes of talking, is to say that I don't think GW really pushed the competitive scene all enough. And now I'm going to compare them to FFG. And talking about FFG specifically in Legion, in the priority supplies in Legion, there is basically something that you can use against your opponent beforehand. You don't get it all the time. It's like 50-50 if it's even you, if you're the blue player or whatever. But they can impact your opponent's game, and your opponent doesn't have a choice about the matter. And I'm not particularly happy about that. It's behind a pay system. I don't think that's a great idea. The difference is that priority supplies box is 20 quid. A kill zone is like 50 quid. And there's only one priority supplies with one card each. And I'm probably, if you go on the FFG website, you'd probably be able to find like what the conditions do and all that kind of stuff. So there is FFG have done the same kind of thing, but I don't necessarily think it's as bad. So I'm hopefully trying to remain balanced there, but you know, it's up to you to decide if I have or not. I won't show you the actual PDF. I don't really think there's any point, but you know, it just says what I've said, so it's not really a point. It just says you agree beforehand, so it's not really anything there. So let's just presume the kill zones are going to be a problem unless we hear, and it might not even be a problem long term. GW not pushing the competitive scene, I think, is. So FFG have for X-Wing, let's say, they have national tournaments, they have continental tournaments, and they have world championships, right? And they have strong tournament packs. They have good FAQs and erratas and that kind of thing. GW doesn't really have that, right? FFG has events, and at their official events they have them as like quite a competitive level. You're expected to play 200 points. These are all available to use. Fine. GW's organised play pack is like, yeah, we're sort of doing it. Here's these events. We're using these rules. You should use these rules well if you're going to make a tournament. That's sort of what they did at the Nova one, even though that included some bizarre rule where you couldn't actually have elevated terrain, which I don't understand why they did that, but that's what they did. And GW aren't really leading it, I don't think. And it's sort of evident with the in the US, they have ITC for 40k. They basically made a competitive scene for Warhammer 40k. GW didn't really do anything about that. They've sort of been slow to get on board with the competitive scene, and I think they sort of need to step it up and have like, right, we're gonna like the Warhammer 40k GTs, I think, and well, they have like them for Age of Sigmar as well. They'll probably have those for Kill Team, but I think they should announce that they're coming and what those packs are like now, so people can prep for them and stuff like that, and then we can all agree that those are the best rules and the rules that we have to play them. Whereas like now it sort of feels like this is a fun tournament, which I'm more than okay with. I really like the way that Star Wars Legion did that. Like they have a pack like where it's like they have in the rules it says, you know, there's casual events and then like premium events where you're expected to be like on the ball, no mess ups. Whereas in the casual ones, it's like, oh, try and be lenient, players are new, that kind of thing. GW haven't officially made that distinction, so people don't know what to expect, or it's not very clear. I think, like, ultimately, if you go in with the mindset that this is a casual event, fine, but I'm hoping eventually they will just lead a competitive scene from start to finish, and it should be from the start. Like once this game came out, very quickly they should have had like a tournament pack that says this is what you should do at tournaments, and then obviously the organizers are more than free to ignore that or adhere to it on their own behalf. Fine. Yeah, I just feel like that should have happened. Now obviously if you're not into like competitive games, this doesn't affect you anyway. If you just want to go to friendly tournaments, then keep doing that. If you want to play you know, 50 kill team points in your house and or your shop, fine, that's all fine. But let's look at FIFA, right? If you FIFA control football as a whole, but they don't own football. Like I can go and play football if I like in the street, do you know what I mean? Or to go jumpers for goalposts. And the same way you can go and play 40k kill team, whatever. But if you want to play in like sanctioned FIFA events, then they have a set of rules that everybody generally follow. Most of the people will follow, right? Well, maybe not in FIFA, but we'll talk about that scandal another day, perhaps. And that's my point. Like FIFA are leading it; they're the ones pushing the rules and driving it all forward. The same way, like FFG push X-Wing, FIFA does football. You know, the NFL does American football. That kind of thing. GW, I think, is not taking up the mantle properly and pushing competitive kill team. Maybe because they're not bothered about competitive kill team, perhaps. Maybe they just want it to be a friendly game. Maybe that's the same with 40k. Fine, but it definitely seems like they're trending towards competitive stuff, especially with like the organized play packs. And Shadespire is apparently quite a good game for a competitive game set. I don't really like the sales model of Shadespire, but that's because I don't like the cards. So that's a bit of a rant. I'm very much aware, as I said, that this is comes straight after a video where I talk about I might be too harsh on GW, but I'm only in the sense that I would like it to be a bit better and I would like it to be a bit clearer, and I mean both like long term and short term. And I don't I have no problems criticizing GW when I think it's appropriate, but I think it's also right and fair that I will occasionally balance it out. Like I spoke about how FFG do the same kind of thing and at what like scale that's happening. That's my goal. I'm trying to remain balanced, but I still have opinions and I'm still going to remain critical when the time comes. Still think Kill Team's a great game. Played it last night. Had a great time. Very happy about it. Really enjoyed it. Want to go Sunday if I can be bothered painting on my terrain as soon as possible. Not sure it's going to happen. So we'll see. So yeah. Do you wish GW would do more when it comes to competitive, or are you not bothered? Are you just a casual gamer and you're happy with that? Which is also fair enough. Like, I've got no complaints. Everybody's each to their own. I like fair competitive games, but I'm not expecting to win. I'm never going to be very good. I'm not very good at anything like that. I'm just playing it for fun. But like competitively, I feel like a lot of people have that mindset and you know, that guy kind of guys. And I feel like that's me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. You should like and subscribe if you're not already doing that. You should support me on Patreon. Or if you can support me on Patreon and you want to, then please do. I really thank all of my Patreons as it is right now. Thank you very much to those people. Thank you very much to you. Have a beautiful day and goodbye.